So I really feel super dope for real. Like, I save so much money, okay, doing this on my own, like literally. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am super excited to be making this video. It has been a long time coming, but my fiance and I finally have been approved by USCIS. It has been a year and a half of just waiting and not knowing what the heck was going on, and then getting the RFE and then trying to put everything together. So we're super excited to be here. I wanted to make this video to help other people who may have gotten an RFE or who want to avoid getting an RFE. I wanted to talk about what I did because I didn't use a lawyer. I originally was going to. I started calling different lawyers, but they were talking about $100 just to sit on the phone and get general advice, general counsel that wouldn't be specific to my situation. That's literally what one lawyer told me. And I was just like, I'm not paying over $100 for an hour to get general information that I can just Google and get online for free. Like, if you're not going to be able to give me specific information, then what is the point of paying you? And another lawyer I spoke with, I think I called about 2 or 3, and I was working on this with my dad at the time, and one of them literally told me that they cannot give me solid counsel or solid advice because they don't want, you know, for if things to go wrong or if things go left, for me to say, like, for them to be held liable for it, or for me to say, like, this is what you told me to do and it didn't work out. That's literally what one lawyer told me. And and when he was saying that too, he was like, oh, that was the situation that I was in. And I was just like, well, if that's the case, I'm not gonna feel comfortable going with you. So like, after all of that, I was just like, no, I'm not doing this lawyer stuff. I'm just gonna do it on my own. And I did, and I got approved, and it worked out. So I wanted to go down the line and explain how I got approved. So initially, I got the RFE, and they wanted 4 things from me. So they wanted acknowledgement of criminal record, basically, have I ever been arrested? Then they wanted proof of my intent to marry. So proof that I could prove that my fiance and I would get married within the 90 days of him coming here. Then they wanted a 2-year meeting requirement. So proof that we had met each other with at least one time within 2 years before we got engaged. And then they also wanted proof of my US citizenship. So what was super easy for me was the acknowledgement of criminal record and proof of US citizenship. Those were, I was like, I got those in the bag. That's super easy. I'm just gonna answer the acknowledgement of the criminal record question, which for me is no, I've never been arrested or have a record. And then with the proof of US citizenship, I would just send a picture of my birth certificate or a passport, which I did my birth certificate and passport. So those were fine. But what I felt like was a little bit more challenging for me was the intent to marry and 2-year meeting requirement, because I felt like I wanted to make sure I gave them the evidence that they were looking for to prove that this is real and this isn't something that we're faking. And in the document that they gave us, they gave a lot of examples, which is really cool. That kind of helped me get more ideas. But some of the stuff that they gave was like super vague, so it was kind of like you kind of got what they wanted, but then not really. So a lot of what helped me was going on the Facebook group that I talked about in my last video, the K1 visa and the CR1 visa Facebook groups that I'm a part of, and asking people for ideas, because that really helped me a lot. So I'm just gonna go from the beginning to kind of just go through everything that I did. So one of the first things was I was trying to figure out, okay, how am I going to put all this together? Because I didn't want to just send them a big huge packet and everything just like spills out and it's like all disorganized and they have to work through it to figure out what was going on. Like, I wanted to put everything really nicely and neatly and like very clean, you know, so like they would look at it and it would be super easy to go through. So what I did was, I don't know if you guys remember back in school when we would read a book and they'd be like, oh, you know, you have a report due, and you do like a whole like little book report thing. So I got these, I got them at Staples, and these you can get at like Office Depot too. I think Walmart might have them, but I always used to get mine at Staples, so that's where I just got these. And this is how it comes. So it basically comes two pieces like this. This is the border part, and then this is the actual folder. You can open it up and you can put different documents and things inside, and it's clear. So front and back, they can see what's in there. So that was really convenient. So this is what I put all of my documentation in. Everything that I was sending was in this little report cover. And when you put it together, this is what it looks like. So this is one that's put together. The border is on the side, and then this is the inside. This is the cover, and then this is the inside, and it looks like this. And then everything I had was put in here. And then what I did was, when a lot of the paperwork and photos and things were getting kind of full, I just put a paper clip at the top to make sure everything like stays together, because sometimes things will slip out a little bit, but if you have the paper clip, I found that it was like really secure. So that's what I first did, is figure out what the heck am I going to put everything in. Once I figured that out, then I was like, okay, how am I going to prove everything that they want? So for the intent to marry, what we did is, and they had this in the example too that they sent me, my fiance and I, we both wrote an intent to marry letter. So basically you can literally Google that, because I didn't know what the heck that is, what's in there. If you Google intent to marry signed statement, or just intent to marry, it'll come right up. And it just gives you like a kind of format of what you need to write, basically saying, I, my name, am willing to and have the intent to marry my fiance, name, within 90 days. And then you just sign it, and you hand sign it. And then my fiance did the same thing. So we both like did that. That was one thing that we did, as intent to marry. And I saw a lot of the groups that I was like looking for information in, they said the same thing, like, yeah, I have like a type of document that basically that we both write saying that we intend to do this. What other things did I send? So I sent evidence of us preparing for a wedding. So I didn't really have that much, because a lot of what we talked about were just, it wasn't like concrete things. Like, for example, like, oh, these are the flowers that I want, or like, this is my dress. Like, it wasn't anything like that. A lot of stuff we talked about was more like venue, and like how we would figure out a way to get everyone together, with all of his family living in one country, and then mine living in another country. So all of those text messages where we talked about that, I sent all of those. And what I did was, they were in English, so I sent the text messages originally, and then I translated them on another document. I literally just typed it and had both, so they would know what the actual original text message said. And then I wrote a third paper, which I saw from the group that I was in online, that people who translated put in there, and I was like, oh, it can't hurt. I put in there that I am a fluent speaker of this language, and I am capable of translating it, so that they know that it's not just like whatever, you know, like just crap that I put on the paper. Like, I actually can translate this because I speak this language. So I did that for everything. We also had talked about, there was this one venue we had talked about wanting to go to, and I'd actually reached out to them just to get like some quotes. That whole conversation, I put all of that in there. I showed the actual pictures of the conversation, and then, because it was in my phone obviously, so I took pictures, printed those out, put them in there, and then I wrote the translation, and then I wrote the other paper saying I know this language and am capable to translate this language. So that's what I did for that. Then I also had my family and friends write a statement for our relationship. So basically, and it says that too in the document that they sent me. That was one of the examples. Basically, it says here, evidence you and or the beneficiary's family and friends are aware of the relationship. So the only way for me to do that would be to have them write something, because I can't like send video or anything like that. So I had them all write a statement basically about us, how they know us, how they know about our relationship, what they've seen us do together. I had my mom write one, my dad, my best friend, and then my fiance's dad wrote one too. So I had 4 statements, because I felt like the more the merrier. You know what I mean? Like, if you can have the more people talking about your relationship, I feel like that's more proof that it's actually real, because it's highly unlikely that a bunch of people are going to send like an official government document and lie about what they're writing about. So that's why I was like, the more the merrier. So I sent 4. In the paper they sent me, I think they only mentioned 2, but I just did 4 just to show even more that this is something that's real. And I think that that did help me. And when I did that, I put them each in their separate little covers like I was talking about before. And what I put before their statement is I put their proof of identity. So I put their passport picture first. So when you first looked at the cover, you saw the person's picture, you saw where they're from, all of that, nationality, everything. And then their statement was behind it. So that's what I did for everyone. And then the last thing that they wanted was the 2-year meeting requirement. So for that, they gave examples of what we could do for that. They gave examples of photos, travel documents, letters that we wrote to each other, tickets, etc. Oh, and sorry, my bad. So the statements that I was saying that I had everyone write, so that went for the 2-year meeting requirement as well. Not for the intent to marry. So the statements, sorry, I said the wrong thing. The statements were for the 2-year meeting requirement, basically to prove and show that we've met in person, that they know about our relationship, that it's real, and they have a guideline of how they wanted each statement to be written. So it starts off with you write your full name, your address, your phone number, your date of birth, the date, sorry, and then your place of birth. So that's the heading that you write. And if you do get an RFE, the document that they send you is going to have that in there. So make sure that you read it really carefully to do everything that they say. So yeah, so that was for the statements. And then the other things that I did was, so I sent pictures, but what I did this time, and I got this idea from the group that I'm in for the K1 visa. So when you have a phone, especially an iPhone, normally, well, smartphone anyway, normally your pictures will give you the location and the date and the time of where you were. So that's like solid proof, because they'll say in the paperwork that they send you, if you're sending pictures, right on the back where you were, which I did that too. But if the actual picture has the location, the date, the time, that's like solid proof of, okay, that's where you were. There's no making that up, because you can't like fabricate that in a photo. So what I did, and I'm just gonna cover this just for privacy purposes, but so if you can see that, what I did was I printed the pictures to look just like that. So it showed the city, it showed the date, and it shows the time. So all of my pictures look like that. So it gives absolute proof that this is where you were. And the way I did it too, I left like the edit sign at the top and the little back arrow that iPhones have to show that these are pictures from a phone. So I felt like that was way better, because what I did originally when I first filed for the K1 visa, I had the pictures and I just wrote on the back. But I feel like printing it out that way gives you absolute proof, and there's no way that they can see like, oh, you just wrote that yourself, you know? So I did all of my pictures that way, and I highly suggest to do that, because that really gives proof that they're looking for. And then I sent pictures of airline tickets and all the times that we saw each other, and I wrote on the back of all of those. I sent my passport along, as well as my fiance's passport, and that's really what I did for all of that. But I think what really helped for sure is keeping everything organized. So the way I filed everything in the report cover, I think really helped. And then what I did was, and the document will tell you this too, the RFE paper that they give you, they want that to be on top. So I put that on top, and then I put all the other requirements that they said in order in the paper afterwards. So I did the RFE paper, and then I did the acknowledgement of criminal record, and then I did the intent to marry, and then I did the US citizenship, and then 2-year requirement. So I did all of them in that order, just to keep it the same of what they were asking for. So I think all of that really helped me. I literally sent, I had until September 22nd to send everything. I sent it, I believe, 2 or 3 days beforehand, maybe like 4 days beforehand, and I got a response not even 2 weeks later saying that I was approved. I just want to double check. I'm gonna double check because I want to give you guys the exact date. So I literally, they sent this, oh, it was even sooner than that. So literally the approval notice that I'm looking at, it says November 30th. So I sent everything 4 days before, no, September 22nd. Sorry, not November 30th. What am I talking about? Clearly I'm like tired. I got the approval September 30th. So they asked for everything September 22nd. I sent it 4 days before then, and September 30th is when I found out that I was approved. So that's not even 2 whole weeks. So it was super fast once I sent everything, which I was really happy about, because I was like, oh my gosh, if I have to sit here and wait another like 5 months just to find out if everything I sent is okay, like I would literally cry. So yeah, I would say everything that I did in my RFE supporting document journey, I would highly recommend you do the same if you get that, because I was approved almost instantly. So I'm really happy that it worked out for us. So I'm now waiting for the NVC, and the NVC stands for the National Visa Center. So they're supposed to get all of our documents from USCIS, and then from there, I believe they're going to be working on their process. I'm still like learning about all this as I'm going through. So I have to kind of do more research and learn about where we're going to be in this next part of our journey. But definitely subscribe to my channel, like and comment so you can keep up with me and my journey, so you can see where this all ends up. Thank you so much, guys, for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed. I hope it helps you. And if you do get an RFE, do not freak out. I remember when I got it, I cried. Like my whole day was like ruined. Like I just felt like I worked so hard and I don't know why it didn't work out. But honestly, just remain level-headed, look at the document, read it so carefully, and formulate a plan of how you're going to do everything, and make sure that you do it as soon as you get it, because they give you about 2 months or so. So don't wait too long, because you don't want for you not to have enough time to do it, but it'll work out. So don't freak out. It'll be fine. Thanks so much for watching my video, guys. Bye.